Morning, Cedar Woodsman here. Stick around if you want to see how I built a Viking shield out of pallet wood. If not, sling your hook. Anyway, I got hold of one of these pallet busters a couple of years ago, and it's the best thing I ever did. It saves your back now for good. Leaning over, smacking him out of a chisel I was for years, until I found this. But yeah, dismantle a pallet, step one. I find cutting down the sides first helps because pallet wood comes off easier and you have less nails to take out. So I started off banging the nails out, then pulling them. Other ones I just sort of cut off and banged them through. I think I aimed for 6 boards in total, so it wasn't too bad. And then the next step was taking them in the workshop. I had to get all the sides planed off and level so that each board matches each other when they're laying flat. Little tip here, when you're finding a pallet, try and pick one that's got straightish boards that don't have too much cup or twist in them. I picked this pallet because the grain of the wood and the nice colouring of it, and I think it was an oak pallet, which is not really very common around here. You normally get pine or other sort of woods, so yeah. I ended up planing every single board to suit each other, labelling them 1 to 6, and marking little arrows and crosses so that I knew where they lined up when I put them back down. But yeah, I first went in with the electric plane, then went back over with the hand plane to fine tune them in. Then I got a chamfer piece and went down each board, both sides, giving them a rebate and tongue and groove look when they're stuck together. So I'll just repeat this process on either side of the board and then glue them up and clamp them up. Lovely jubbly. Yeah, it was a bit cold the next morning, so I had to light the fire and then unclamp it, see if it had stuck, and it had stuck pretty well considering it was just PVA wood glue on all of the joints, and the joints weren't as flat as I wanted them to be because there was quite a big bow in these boards. In the middle there you can see, on the middle of the right. To make the circle, I just drilled a hole in a piece of MDF, measured out how much I wanted, put a screw in the middle, dropped a pencil in the other and spun it round. You can do it with a string, the same thing, just tie the string onto the screw and put the pencil pen in the end and after all that cutting, routering, sanding, I changed my route a bit to a round over and then took that round the inside edge of the shield. drilled a big hole in the middle. I think this was the biggest size hole saw I had. But it's perfect for my hand to fit in. So yeah, and then I took a round over to the inside edge of the shield. And this is where things might get a bit controversial with some people, because I know Viking shields didn't have a boss made of aluminium in history, but that is what I have here, and that is what I've used, because it's not historically correct, this shield, but nevertheless it's a bit of fun. I had to round off the nuts on 6 bolts so they'd sit flat down into the boss. It seemed a bit of a shame to paint it because the grain and the wood turned out really nice, but I'd already told myself I was going to paint it, so yeah, I've done one half white and the other half like a sky blue sort of colour. The holes I drilled in the boss, the first ones I did was on the line where the paint line was, top and bottom first of all, because my handle was going to be on the back side of that, so I just drilled in all the way through the boss and the shield to start with. I then flipped her over, put the handle on the back and drilled up from the underneath on those 2 holes to mark on the handle where I needed it. I then countersunk the holes into the handle and tightened up the bolts. I then went back and added another 6 more bolts, giving it plenty of strength to the boss area. I found this design on Google. It said it was a Viking compass. Well, it actually had another name, but I'm not going to try and pronounce that. And then, yeah, I got to sketching it out on the shield. It's an ancient Norse symbol, and it represents guidance, protection, and the ability to find one's way. That's what it said on Google anyway. So, yeah, but I liked the design, and I liked how it fitted on the shield. My painting is not very good. I tried my best, and it was probably the best design for me to do, because I have no patience for painting. I try and it just fades. By the end of it, it didn't look as bad as what I thought when I started. I could have done with a thinner paintbrush, but I didn't. That's the smallest paintbrush I had, and I cut that down with a pair of scissors, so I couldn't wait any longer to paint it. So yeah, it didn't look too bad. I then got my old belt that broke, and I used that to make a strap from my arm so I could try and hold the shield a bit better, because it is pretty heavy. I know it's not historically correct because there's only half a centimetre, and they had a skin of rawhide over the front of them, and they were only thin so you could wield them better, but this is how this palletwood one's turned out, so I just thought I'd put a strap on it to try and make it a bit better. I think they had straps on the obviously original Viking shields, but they weren't near as heavy as this thing. And then I went back and added a piece of leather over the bolts where my hand would be against the shield when holding the handle. Here it is. It's all done. I think it turned out pretty good. It's not as heavy as I thought. I mean, you wouldn't want to get hit by it. You definitely wouldn't want to get hit by it. And it probably will stop some arrows, so we better get some weapons. Let's go and get some weapons. Target practice. But Mary and Storm have chose to just stand in the corner over there right now. You two, why are you trying to stand there? Come on. You've got all this field to go in. You want to stand there? It's like talking to a horse. Yeah, I'm just going to wait for these to get out of the way. Then I've got to practice not hitting the bullseye, because I'm so good, I normally always hit the bullseye, so I've got to practice getting it around the edge, because I don't want to shoot straight through the aluminium boss. What do you want? we want. So let's switch over to the shield and see what happens. Judgment time. Straight in the shield. The moment of truth. Oh, it stopped it! Stopped it straight. Bullseye. Nothing. A little bit of damage on the back there, but it stopped it, and that's from close range as well. I've got Kaylee's bow, which is more powerful than mine, and it's got these hunting tips. We're a bit more fierce than them other tips, so we'll see what this does. Let's go and have a look. See what damage we've got. It's not as bad. It's not as bad as I thought. This is the one I've been kind of nervous about, because I'd like to try and keep this shield intact, but you can't have a Viking axe and not hit it with an axe, so. There's a decent sized chop in it, but it didn't break. So maybe one more. I'm not sure where this is going to hit the shield, so it could completely destroy the boss. Well, there you have it. The palletwood shield stood up to the test.